Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Can you guys let me know? I was planning to do vertical, but I guess I'm not going to. Never mind. Let me let the people know. A regular. Hold up. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm pretty sure people did not get the notifications. This is a regular stream. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Oh my God, my hair's all crazy and everywhere. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hey. Drop a one in the chat if you see me. Hey, everybody. Am I regular or am I vertical? I see Tina. Shout out to Tina's here. Hey, Venus. How are you? You got a notification? Actually, hey, girl. How are you, my love? Storm. I only got the disc notification. Okay. I was going to do a vertical, but I was like, you know what? Let me change my mind. I'm not really ready for the crazy people on the vertical. Shout out to the vertical people. It's just like, you know how it like brings in the thing about the vertical lives is that it gets you in a different algorithm, which is amazing and it's great to do. But the problem is that the ad revenue on that is very low. So it's one of those things where it's like, do I go regular? Do I go vertical? But then it might not be beneficial to go regular. So I kind of have to balance that as well. So you got the notification 1 minute after the Discord. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Lori, how are you? Shout out to everybody in the chat. You are full half screen? I thought it was full screen. Let me know. Thank you. Yeah, the mods are amazing during the verticals, and then it invites all kinds of trollish behavior on the verticals. You just never know what you never know what you're gonna get with that one. Thank you. Katie says I got the notification. I'm so glad you did. The mods do rock. Thank you, James. Shout out to everybody. Yes, I'm gonna post it on the. It's full for you. Okay, I'm gonna post it on the community wall for the members. So I'll repost the link there. I did post it during the week. I don't have an open link like that because it allows people who don't pay for membership to just go in there. So I have to be careful about that. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So let me tell you what's going on. So, in my mind, I'm working on a deeper dive on this because I thought it warranted. We've been talking all kinds of things about the Epstein list and all kinds of stuff that hasn't been said, just the overall concerns with the information that we're being given and not given. And I've been a little bit amazed by the people's responses to this information. So I wanted to like kind of do a deeper dive into why it's important for us to have this list. But for today's live, I'm not really like organized. I just wanted to do like a research kind of live so we could look at different things together because you guys have been sending me like squids. A bunch of people have been sending me emails on like, hey, did you watch this? Or did you know about that? Or did you know about this lawsuit? Did you know about this? So I'm like, well, maybe this would be a good live for an hour for me just to sit here and kind of review the things that people have been sending me, right? Like the Jean-Loup Brunel, I think, or Jean-Loup Brunel, that guy with the modeling agency, his connection to Les Wexner. And then, listen, not that I'm not a fan of Roseann Barr, but the lady's mad. Did you guys hear what she was doing on Twitter because she's got no the lady doesn't have a filter. Lady does not have a filter, but she has been a huge supporter of a lot of things in terms of like exposing things and whatnot. And I think I did I screenshot it? I think I did. So Roseann, Miss Roseann, um, tweeted. Let's see. Can I find that tweet? I thought I had that tweet. Maybe I don't, but I bet you we can find it. Let's see. We can find it. So I figured I was like, let's do a live where we kind of look at things together and maybe have a fluid conversation about it. Now hold up. She'd be saying some crazy ass shit online. That's why I can't even follow her or anything like that. Let's see. Let's see if I can find her stuff. There was a tweet that she made. She basically came in here. Oh shit, here it is. She said, okay, why can't I add this to the stage? Here it is. Okay, it's a little slow. Mr. President, yes, we still care about Epstein. Is there a time to not care about child S.T.? Read the damn room. I have to bookmark that. Read the damn room. Okay. She said that. So she is kind of also like calling it out. She's like, you're not understanding. You're not getting the program. You're not getting the message. How are you, S and Peace, my love? Shout out to everybody coming through. Sorry, I'm noticing a little bit of a delay. I don't know if it's on my end or what. It might be on my end. She ain't wrong. I'm not a fan of Roseann. I'm not. Yeah, she can be somewhat hilarious, but I'm just not a fan of her. I don't really like the things that she says. I don't, but it's what she's thinking. It's what she's feeling. So you can't really be mad at her. Yes, I did hear that Trump is threatening to deport Rosie O'Donnell. So he's mad about that. Like, I'm like, oh Lord, this can't be good. This cannot be bueno for anybody sitting on this side of the fence, right? Like, it just can't. Now hold up, y'all. It's a little bit of a slow start. Let me make sure that I share with this with everybody because my YouTube just closed down. So there's no list, y'all. There's no list. I just saw penguins a video and I want to talk about it because I like penguins too. Shout out to penguins. Or let's see. And we have that, but hold up. Let me make sure I share this with everybody, y'all, because I did not. Welcome, everybody, guys. Hey, thank you guys for those that have hit the like button. We live now. Yeah, I agree with her this time. It's probably the only time that you'll hear me actually agreeing with Roseann, honestly. And actually being like, well, damn, the lady's got a point. So, okay. Let's get together. This has been shared. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's start with penguins, but I have some articles that I want to pull up so we can look at this. And then some of your guys' email. I have received so many emails, y'all, about this topic that I'm like, guess what? Maybe, you all know I believe in God. Maybe God is saying, Rabbit, it's time for you to look at this. It's time for you to do a deeper dive into this. It's time. I'm also looking at the Rock Nation stuff. Just, letting y'all know. But I'm not all the way there yet. Ooh, I just scratched myself too hard. So yeah. Yes. You said Rosie O'Donnell is living her best life in Ireland. That's what it sounds like. So I don't know if she would be mind if she would. How do you deport somebody? Can you deport somebody like that? I mean, I thought isn't she a citizen of the US and just on a visiting visa? I thought she was on a visiting visa in the US, right? Like, or excuse me, in Ireland. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know how that works. I've gone to outside of this country and visited, but yeah, she can do too much. She really can. I think a lot of people can do too much, but she's a citizen. How do you deport? Why is my mouse acting up? And she hasn't committed any crimes, right? I think it's my mouse. Yeah, it's my mouse. Let me see what's going on. Here we go. Come on, mousy. Okay, there it is. Now it's working. She's a citizen. That's why it's such a big deal. It is a big deal. How do you deport people because you don't like what they say, Kelly? I don't like what a lot of people say, but I'm not about to deport. I mean, I might deport them in my mind. Like, bitch, you're like exiled from this brain, but I don't deport them outside the country. Like, that would be crazy. How do you deport someone? I mean, okay. All right.
The chagrin of a lot of people in power, the conversation around Jeffrey Epstein doesn't seem to be fizzling out anytime soon, which is great. Hopefully, it will keep this steam and will never peter out because it is of the utmost importance that this gets corrected, that they stop trying to perpetuate these lies that they're attempting to shove down the American public's throat about Jeffrey Epstein not having a list, not indulging in blackmail, and then trying to drop what has now been revealed as modified footage of Jeffrey Epstein's cell area to prove that he took his own life and no one came in there. There was no fishy business. The Baba Yaga didn't pay him a visit or anything. And they try and proclaim that that footage was like the raw, real deal, you know, organic sourced footage here. But what we're talking about today, it turns out that was once again another fucking lie.
It was.
Coffeezilla just made a video talking about it as well, so I'm going to play a few clips from that because he is significantly more intelligent than I am. And buckle your seatbelt because it is a wild ride.
Did you guys see that Coffeezilla actually pulled the what is it? This is like too technical for me, but I guess like when you modify a video, there's like a trail of it, and you can actually get into, I think it's called the metadata. I'm pretty sure there's another word for it, but you can actually get into it and figure out like what, like they found out that it was Adobe that was used and other things that were used to basically modify certain things. Whoa. I love the fact that these people on YouTube, which by the way, never went to, you know, some of us never went to journalism school. I went to social work school. I worked in government. You know, I got my own skill sets, but this is whole different level. Like I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
The raw Epstein footage was modified according to its metadata, despite Dan Bongino previously saying that they would release the original footage so you wouldn't think there were shenanigans.
There's video. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
Well, unfortunately, that's
what would they need to clean up? That's the thing that I don't understand. If the video that they provided isn't even really facing the area, I guess, like what would need to be cleaned up? That's the question. Now, real as it gets. Hello, Rabbit and Bunny family. I'm at work at the hospital. Oh my God. Have a good day. On break. And I thought I'd stop by to support your channel by hitting the like button. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Make sure you guys are supporting the channel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's not what we got.
To briefly explain for those that don't know, when the DOJ and FBI came out and said that Epstein did not have a list, did not indulge in blackmail, and did in fact commit suicide, they then dropped some footage that was supposed to corroborate that there really was no one else that entered his area and killed him or anything. So they dropped a lot of footage, and it was supposed to be the raw feed of it. Turns out that doesn't seem to be the case. It was very likely modified, and you're about to see the metadata that indicates that it most likely was, as well as a forensic expert that weighs in that also thinks that it was not done properly here.
And basically they pulled the metadata and showed that the footage appears to be assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, and then uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it was presented as raw footage, which technically it is not. Now, I pulled the EXIF data myself. This is what it looks like. You can see that there's these ingredients file path here.
Look at this. This is verbal vomit to me. I'm like, what does that even say? What does that even mean? And he's literally showing us that, and he's explaining it to us. I love this. Shout out to Coffeezilla.
Where you can see 4 different files. 2 of them are just identical. So 2 unique files here that have been basically stitched together is the most charitable interpretation.
So they went into Adobe Premiere and edited the footage, saving it multiple times. I cannot believe that they would even leave the metadata intact. You would think that these 3-letter organizations would be better at hiding their dirty work. Now, maybe if they were using the superior editing program, Sony Vegas, they would have been able to, you know, get away with it more effectively, because Sony Vegas probably doesn't even have metadata. It's so fucking archaic. But they went into Adobe Premiere, spliced this together, and then sent it as raw when it is not raw. It is edited. That is, like, legitimately, by all possible definitions, a lie. Even though Bongino said, no, you're going to get the raw, so you know there's no shenanigans. But all we get is shenanigans.
Yes, maybe you didn't do anything with it, but it kind of ruins the whole chain of evidence. Wired actually quotes a professor of UC Berkeley whose research focuses on digital forensics. He has testified in numerous court cases, and he says, if a lawyer brought me this file and asks if it was suitable for court, I'd say no. Go back to the source. Do it right. Do a direct export from the original system. No monkey business.
It's actually scary just how blatant this corruption is. For years, they have talked about the Epstein list and the blackmail. It is something that everybody knows exists. Like there is endless amounts of evidence to suggest its legitimacy. Yet now, all of a sudden, they're like, nah, it's not real. No, that's just fictitious. That's like fucking Santa Claus's list right there. That's not real. No naughty and nice list. No Jeffrey Epstein list. There's no such thing. Jeffrey Epstein's not even a real person. That's just a made up fairy tale. Like,
didn't we go through this too? We're like, that's not real. You're not real. I'm not real. Nothing is real.
They haven't gone that far with that claim, but like I said last time, I feel like we're not far off from them just trying to deny Jeffrey Epstein ever even existed, trying to scrub him from the history books here. But like they are actively just not even trying to make this believable. They are so confident that they will not be held accountable that they don't even bother to do even the slightest amount of elbow grease to convince anyone to believe them. And they're right. Like nothing's happening to them. They are covering up for one of the biggest pedophiles in history that implicates some of the most powerful people across the globe. And they are sweeping it under the rug. There have been no arrests made, and it doesn't seem like they're pursuing it at all. Caroline even just recently said that they're not like releasing anything in regards to it because of like how graphic and gross all of it is.
Oh my God.
We tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable.
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did. And they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Oh,
no. What a rehearse BS answer that was. Let me just say that.
they provided the results of that. How many people went to jail, Caroline? I must have missed that update. Were there a lot of bad guys that got locked up here? Oh man, that's huge. I feel like more people should know that. Can you share who all got arrested from all of the Epstein investigations?
No, penguins. It was a woman. That's it.
This vile worm tries to say that nothing's going to get released, and I guess nothing's going to happen to anyone that was incriminated here because a lot of it was not fit for public consumption. Fucking weirdo. No one's asking you to like share the videos or anything like that. But you are saying that you have this evidence and you're doing nothing with it. And we know there is a list of clients and a lot of people that engaged with it. Fucking arrest them.
Yep.
What the public deserves is that you will follow through with your duty of arresting these evil people that you have unbelievable amounts of evidence on, which is not happening. This is the furthest thing from transparency, unless she's trying to argue that this cover-up is so blatant, obvious, and terrible that everyone can see through it, so you can immediately know how guilty some of the most powerful people are. Then I guess that makes sense, because this is such a poorly done attempt at burying this that everyone can see through it. Is that the point she was trying to make? Perhaps, I guess. Every step of the way here, they are lying and trying to cover up everything related to Jeffrey Epstein, including this footage that was supposed to be raw footage.
The video aspect.
Nothing. Guys, we don't have names. We don't have anything. Nothing. Paige, you're right. It's disgusting. I blame both administrations. This should have been dropped a long time ago, honestly. I said it before. I'm not for this or for that. Biden sat on it too. This administration made promises to release it. They were okay releasing the other stuff because what JFK is JFK. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. But this is like for some of us that are alive, right? Like millennials, because a lot of victims in that list were millennials too, of millennial age. Some of us have a vested interest to see justice happen for those victims as well, right? We want to see what's going on. It's crazy to me. I'll never forget like the first podcast I heard about, like when I was like very brand new to this. I think it was 2017 or 2018. It was an Apple podcast that I was listening to, and I'll never forget it because I was so intrigued by it. And I was working on government back then, and I was cleaning. I had just moved into, I had just bought a house. I was cleaning this house, right? And I was listening to it as I was cleaning. And I'm like, wait a minute. So this guy, like, this is me being so I don't want to say dumb, but just did not really know how deep this went, right? This person who had all of this money and all of this connects, had this island, was bringing in little girls or was recruiting people. Like, I remember hearing some victim stories about how they got recruited, how they met everybody. And then they were assaulted by this guy. And then the lady, you know, Maxwell watched, or she arranged, or she did everything. And some of this happened at the Trump Tower hotel in Florida. That one with the golf course. Some of this happened right then and there. So that would be a chain that should be held responsible for a lot of the crimes that happened there. But suddenly we're not going to talk about this. Why? Because the guy's the president? If it was Biden, you guys would be coming after him. Everybody would, right? It's crazy to me. Y'all are really eating it. People are really wanting to ignore this. I'm sorry, Linda. No.
Ratio suddenly shifts as the tape changes over or whatever they claim. You can see that right here. There's like a sudden shift in the video. I have not changed this video in any way. I have it in the Premiere Pro timeline, which I guess they had as well. So this is as intended. So there's this just weird shifts in the footage. I mean, this was done in actually a very sloppy way after they explicitly talked about needing to do it in the right way so the American public could rely on it.
Now, as CoffeeZilla says, it could be all just incompetence, like actually just fucking troglodytes here in charge of all of this.
No.
So even though they called attention to needing to do it the right way, they're just so fucking brain dead, like actual lobotomites, and just couldn't even do it the right way. So then they just farted this out. Like, it could be like no manipulation here. Like, this is just how it's done. Like, for some reason it dumps a minute, like as it's switching over, and they had to put it into editing software and fuck up the aspect ratio. I guess it could be incompetence, but I would not be that charitable with this. They are doing so much lying. Again, we already know about the list existing, and we know about the blackmail. That is all real stuff. And now they're denying it. And now they're doing this modifying of footage while trying to fight back against the conspiracy that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
No.
It's just insanity. They are so confident that the public will do nothing about it. They'll get upset, but they'll just swallow it and be done with it and move on. And some people are, but I'm happy that most aren't. They are desperately doing everything in their power to try and bury this whole conversation about Jeffrey Epstein. Like a couple days ago, where Trump interrupted a question about it in order to try and shift to something else. Like, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, that creep? How can you be talking about him when there's floods going on in Texas? It's such a bad look.
Why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the minute set?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the
So we watched this. I'm going to skip over. I just really like Penguin's commentary on this.
Most in-your-face cover-ups most people have ever seen. This is one of the biggest pedophiles in history that implicates so many extremely powerful people. Yeah, people are still talking about it, understandably, because the people deserve answers, and there needs to be justice for all of the people that engaged in this. This desperation from those in power to move on from the Jeffrey Epstein conversation is extremely scary. And they are doing it with reckless abandon, feeling completely immune to consequences for all of this.
Absolutely.
And so far, they're right. Like, there's not anything that's coming from it. There's still no arrest being made. There's still no new information coming out. The only information we get,
just like what Vic said right here, I agree. This is about sending a message to the billionaires, and no matter what they do, they will be protected. That's what this is all about. I agree.
is more information about how they are lying, like modifying the footage and shit. It's craziness. I just wanted to give you a little update here with everything that's unfolding in the Jeffrey Epstein case. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.
It's crazy, man. It is so crazy. Okay. Let's get into some articles. So this is an article from 2022. All right. So not that long ago. Did a Miami-based model agency fuel Jeffrey Epstein's machine of abuse? Okay. And I had done some videos because I remember when new information was like, there were some videos that were released about the interrogation. People were the interrogation, not interrogation, but like the questioning of the victims. And I had done a little bit of commentary on it. And there was a lawsuit that was filed regarding some of the victims with Jeffrey Epstein. And a lot of this was being reviewed. And I want to say this was about a year ago, right? So some of this might align with that. But the yellow sign for MC2 model management is posted in a second floor window overlooking Lincoln Road. It's an echo of the modeling mecca years when South Beach was like walking into a Calvin Klein underwear ad with heads turning men and women on every corner and photos crews lined up on the stand. The office has been locked for 2 years, tenants say, and the parade of aspiring girls has ceased. Here, Jeffrey Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel, I think that's how you say his name because it's French, created the boutique firm MC 2 years before Epstein's arrest on charges of trafficking minors. What better pipeline than a modeling agency that would recruit young girls dreaming of a glamorous career and provide a stream of slender bodies, one after the other, as if they were strutting down Epstein's personal catwalk. The underage girls from Royal Palm Beach High, shopping malls, and trailer parks entice to Epstein's waterfront estate to give him massages that turn into sexual assaults. Weren't the Palm Beach multimillionaires only victims? He also had an appetite for models. Jean fed that appetite. So Jean was the recruit. Remember when we read the indictment for what's his name, Mike Jeffries, he had that one guy that was recruiting the guy with like the missing nose. Yeah, that guy, he was recruiting the young models, right? And he was recruiting them sometimes from the store or sometimes just off the street. And they would set up like they go to hotels and they set up the rooms like Abercrombie and Finch stores. Let me tell you something, guys. Knowing that this is how people were assaulted in those rooms, knowing that they did, like, I don't know how you can walk into an Abercrombie and Finch store and not even get that vibe. Understanding that people were assaulted in this way. Now, Abercrombie can say, you know, it didn't happen during our time that we were here. It never happened. Not buying it. I'm not buying it. I think that they knew. They knew. Infamous truth teller, thank you so much. Did you hear about the restraining orders federal judges is putting on the ICE situation? He implemented 2 restraining orders. No, I did not. That's not the topic that I'm talking about right now, though. But thank you so much for the $5. If you want to shoot me an email or a message and send me that, that'd be great. But thank you so much for the $5. I had no clue what's going on with that. Wow, that's interesting though. I have a lot of questions about this. You said and ask what happened to the women that came forward and said they helped him find a lot of those victims. They've all disappeared since. So he was recruiting, he would use young, like he had his victims, right? And then he had the women that he had victimized and recruit other girls, right? What happened to those women? You said that they've all disappeared? That is so interesting. That is so interesting. And don't forget so those pageants, are there any connections there to people on that list? We the people want to know. Are any of those like, you know how he's like the owner of, what is it, Miss Universe or something like that, and he ran those pageants? Is there any connections to any of that? That is so interesting. No worries, love. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting the channel, though. Okay. And it further goes. The underage girls. Okay, so they was bringing underage girls from shopping malls, trailer parks, and it was about, can you give a massage and you'll get paid? And then they were essayed. Jean launched the careers of famous models for over 40 years in Paris, New York, and Miami, placing them on Vogue covers and couture runways. But he shared Epstein's obsession for S with young women. And he knew that the men who ran the fashion industry could take advantage of women and girls whose faces sold the clothes. According to court records, sworn depositions, witness testimonies, and new interviews by the Miami Herald. Epstein, who financed Jean's MC2 investment with $1 million line of credit, died at the age of 66 in his Manhattan jail cell on August 10th. Okay? Awaiting trial on S trafficking charges. His death ruled an S by hanging, which we know that that's questionable. But hey, believe what everybody wants to believe. Where you land totally depends on you. Has led prosecutors to look at others in his orbit who could be considered enablers. And these enablers are on those lists, which would seem to include Jean, 72. Okay? Let me assure you, this case will continue on against anyone who was complicit with Epstein. Any co-conspirators should not rest easy. This was Attorney General William Barr said in the aftermath of Epstein's death. And there's the sign of MC2 or MC square. I think it's MC2. The prominent French agent in scouting tsunami, according to his MC2 bio, has gone underground. First in Brazil, one of his favorite hunting grounds for poor, tall, 3 and 14-year-olds. So he was targeting victims that were from, poor neighborhoods, clearly people that maybe needed a little extra money or, were okay giving their daughters up for these modeling agencies, right? Very specific grounds that he would go to. Doesn't this kind of remind you of like when people go to Thailand and they're there to kind of, what's the word? Seek younger children. I think it's like a lot of these like other outside of the countries where they feel like they're not going to get in trouble. They do that kind of like dating and they're going in there and everything. It's a lot. It's a lot. Meanwhile, all these evil people have surrounded us with microwave weapons or funded it, are pumping the sky and people full of poison. Oh my goodness. You said it close. Family. Gay boy, hello, no, open one. What do you mean, Black Sun? I'm so confused by your comment. But let me see what you guys are saying. So they're getting out of the country to go perpetrate on other folks. That's what it sounds like to me. Because that's what they're doing. Why didn't Biden and DOJ prosecute Trump related to Epstein if they could have? That doesn't make any sense to me. This is why I'm telling you, Donna. This is why I don't give. I understand that some information was released from one certain administration, but not everything was released. Why wasn't everything released? And like I said, I hold all of these leaders accountable. All of these leaders should be held accountable to this. Like they work for us, guys. They work for us. And let me say this, y'all gonna come for me at the comments, but somebody did come for me and say some shit to me. This Sound of Freedom movie. Didn't the guy that wasn't he also part of a Mormon situation? Wasn't he also part of some nefarious shit too? This is what I'm saying. That it's like I kind of have to kind of side eye all of these people that are out there exposing movements when they're also part of the problem. Ballard, thank you. Ballard, is it Tim Ballard? He's a liar too. So he's out there doing this. And let me tell you, I got into an argument with my close family about this because they were telling me, go watch this movie. And I said, y'all do know about the Ballard guy, right? That guy is so fishy as hell. And then all this stuff started coming out about him. There's actual lawsuits about him. Listen, Linda. I don't know what the hell that is all about, and I don't have enough information, but I heard about everything. I heard about that too. Yeah, we're gonna leave that there. But shout out to you, Blair. Okay. Let's see. Sounds of Freedom was a scam. That's what I heard too. That's what I heard. I heard that too. You gotta kind of have to wonder. Let me know what you guys think. And by the way, please hit the like button. This is the kind of content that worries me about making, because this is the kind of stuff that gets suppressed. I worry about it. Anything with any of these people on the title gets dumbed down. You said, I think that they discredited him for the same they did to Snowden for your own and form your own conclusions, people. Okay. You totally agree with me. He's totally fishy. I don't know much about the guy, but he does have a say. There's a lawsuit out there about that guy, the Ballard guy. That was the thing. There's a podcast all about, okay, Venus, I'm going to have to check it out. I have to check it out. But shout out to the person that sent me this article, because I was like I said, there's a lot of articles that you guys are sending me about the situation. And I'm like, let's do a research stream where we sit there and we review some of the stuff, okay? Okay, so when this prominent William Barr said in the aftermath of the Epstein death, let me assure you this case will continue on against anyone who was complicit with Epstein. Any co-conspirators should not rest easy. Okay, I guess they can rest easy, right? So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I guess they can rest easy because, I mean, here we are. This is in 2019. Hold up.
There was no way that this guy was not going to eventually kill himself, because he had few options. You know, everyone knows Jeffrey lived his life. He didn't want for anything. You know, the cars, the boats, the planes, the helicopters, the islands, the homes in Europe, the homes here, and the girls.
Look at
That's
those
his
girls.
life. He cannot live in a 2x4 concrete.
Look at those girls. And he was getting them. And I remember the podcast. It was interviewing, it was not Virginia Giuffre. It was interviewing a girl who was like, she was, I want to say 15 or 16. And she wasn't like, she talked about how she wasn't doing very well at school. I'll never forget, her story resonated with me. And I think maybe this is why I still remember this podcast even years after. Okay. She wasn't doing very well at school, and she was kind of like, she was a bit of an outcast, and she was misbehaving, and she had all this stuff going on. And so she was recruited through like someone else that then introduced her to Maxwell. And then that's how she got introduced. Then there were some women that were actually working at the Trump Hotel, right? And then they were recruited through that way of areas and means. So, oh man. I remember, guys, think about it. I want you to think about your teenage self for a minute. And I know this is very dangerous to do because, you know, there's a level of a countertransference that we can do here. But think about your teenage self and think about how, you know, if you have ever been in that position where you just were that outcast or didn't fit in, and anybody coming in your way that can speak to you in a certain way that could have enticed you to do things, probably did. That resonated with me so much. You remember that story? There was one specific victim. Kim, thank you so much for the 999 super sticker, my love. Thank you. Appreciate you, Kim. There was one specific victim that resonated with me. There was one that was like, she wasn't doing too well at school. And so when I see these faces, I'm like, oh my God. It just takes me back there where I'm like, oh man, anybody could have been in that position. Anybody could have been. That could have been somebody's daughter, sister, cousin, or whatever, right? And you see the pictures here that it's like you actually have faces to these people. Franny Law says, why do I feel like it's all going to come out with the victims? Douglas Windor, please report to the courtroom. Douglas Windor to the courtroom, please. And thank you, Franny Law. Thank you so much for making this comment. Shout out to you. But you have to kind of wonder, like, when they sat there and they said what they said, no, Liz? No, Liz? Really? You know, I don't agree with Roseann Barr on anything, but read the fucking room, Mr. President. Read the room. My goodness.
Cell. It was never going to happen. And I think when the information came out yesterday, when the court records started to be released, I think the only option he had at that time in his mind was, listen, either I become a government witness and flip against all these people that helped me get girls and flip against all these people that I supplied girls to.
Delicio.
Oh, there's a commercial. I'm muting it for the purposes of this. But this is 2019. It's like they're trying to gaslight us. They're saying that there's no list. There's nothing. Are we sure about that? Are we sure about that? This is crazy that this is where we're at. I'm waiting for this commercial to be over. Hold up, y'all. All right.
That's the only way I'm going to get a reduction in sentence. And it's the only way I'm ever going to get out of here. And even looking at that, he probably figured or he was going to do at least still 10 years. He would be in his mid-70s when he got out. Or he knows he's going to be convicted. And he would have to say, okay, my life's over as I knew it. I'm going to be in the cell, 4x4 concrete cell for the rest of my life. That's unacceptable to someone like him. There was no way he was going to live that way. And I think, he tried a few weeks ago. I was very surprised to hear that they took him out of a suicide cell because even I knew, and I'm sure a lot of other people figured that this guy's going to try to commit suicide. And of course he was successful. Well, I think he's only been back in the regular cell for 2 or 3 days now. And he was successful. I've been chasing this guy for 10 years. I'm happy. I was very happy when he got arrested. He was finally going to stand trial. Some of the hard work that I put into this case and the hard work that Brad put into this case was going to be used in this trial.
I don't think that like I said, I don't think so. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that Epstein just did it on himself. Nope.
And I was pretty happy to see that happen. And I was a little angry that he, again, in his own way, escaped justice. He could, he did it the first way by buying his way out of it. And the second time he did it, he knew he was no way out of this one. So the only thing he could do was kill himself and therefore escape justice once again. But I too feel that the co-conspirators are going to be held accountable and brought to justice.
Nope. Well, that didn't end very well. So back in 2022, I believe it was February, Jean, the modeling agency guy, was found dead in a... Hold up, y'all. Is this still playing? He was found dead in a prison in Paris. Okay. Okay. Another situation. The French modeling agent and close associate to the U.S. financier and offender Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead in his prison cell in Paris. Really? He was found hanged in his cell. Isn't that what they said Epstein did to himself too? In La Sarthe prison at 1 on Saturday, prosecutors told BBC. The 76-year-old had been held for over a year as he was investigated on suspicion of of minors and trafficking of minors, of exploitation. Brunel has denied any wrongdoing. The lawyers said that he had been crushed by the allegations and blamed the media judicial system. Even though we've had so many people that implicate him, that's a picture of him. And there's that. And there's all of that. Like, it's crazy to me, but yet and still, there's nothing. It's like, are we serious? Are we really serious about that? Hold up. Let me see what else I could, because somebody else sent me a couple of other files. So crazy. Now, you know, one lawsuit I never looked at, and somebody in the Discord shared it to me. They shared it with me. They shared me the lawsuit from Trump. Now, I can't tell you that I know everything about it because I don't. It was Doe versus Trump, and what was the outcome of it? So this was filed in 2016. Now, I don't think that anything came out of this. I mean, if you guys have ever followed this, let me know. This was the 2016 Jane Doe versus Trump and Epstein. Okay. Complaint for RSA conduct, misconduct, criminal S acts, SA, forcible. Okay, all of the above. I'm not even going to get into that. And I might actually do, it's only 19 pages. I might actually do a separate video on this. But essentially, did y'all hear about this? Let me know. In 2016, this specific lawsuit, this might require a different video. And I do wonder if this is why he doesn't want to, like, I want to know what happened here. And if anybody in the chat can email me like an outcome, or at least let me know what happened here, that'd be great. Because I think this requires a whole separate video. Now, this is either going to, like, nothing came out of this, or what, and it was civil and there was no criminal charges from this. There was defamation of this person, okay, through Radar Online. All of this. Hold up, let's see. They even asked for a protection order at the time. I believe the victim was a minor at the time. So this is old lawsuits, but let me know. What? It got dropped? This one got dropped? Okay, I'll have to check it out. It got dropped 3 times. Okay, I'll check that out. So I don't know. Take it for what it's worth as far as this goes. But here's an example. Like, these are just things that people are sending me about just information. So then the Daily Beast reported, and take it for what it's worth. I'm not a fan of the Daily Beast. MAGA civil war erupts over Trump's Epstein flop. The FBI director, Kash Patel, Deputy Director Dan Bongino, and keep calling him Bonjoni, but I think it's Bongino. my bad. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, are in a 3-way mega battle over the release of information or lack thereof. Now, the White House did release a statement, and they're kind of like, kind of downplaying the situation a bit. They're very much like, no, this is just being divisive. None of this is happening. We're totally, everything is fine. I mean, I have never seen, maybe it's because I'm new to this, but like, the White House posted the symbol of hope, truth, justice, the American way, a Superman Trump, the Trump presidency. What in the hell in the AI world is this? I mean, the fake news is the fake news, but literally, like, what do you call it when the AI is fake? You guys are sending me a lot of stuff. I don't know what to make. I said, huh? I mean, I thought people were struggling with the whole, him trying to play like the Pope. But I just had to show this. I said, y'all are crazy. What is this? What is this? Trump presidency, truth, justice, in the American way, Superman, the White House. So then I was like, well, let me see what the people are saying. Oh my God. Oh, see, people are not having it. Look at you just, Loma. Look at this. The Epstein files. Look at this. I'm just like Superman. Superman doesn't protect a Pedialyte. Look at this. He slapped him. Oh my God. Like, I'm showing you guys. Look at, they did a whole little Scooby-Doo thing. Pat Bondi, Epstein files right here. Oh my God. This is too much. Just giving you an idea. But again, you know, that there's no list. People are coming for Trump. Like, people are coming for Trump. Y'all. They said it's fake news, though. Let's see. This is December 2023. Kash Patel said the Epstein Black Book was under the direct control of the director of the FBI. Really? Okay.
Control of the director.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is that. I mean, there's
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
Oh my, this didn't end very well for the folks, y'all. This didn't end very well at all. I thought Superman was a refugee. I don't know if it's okay. I have just arrived and I'm MAGA mad. Beautiful Messy Ball's like, listen, Revy, you better change this or I'm gonna unsubscribe from you, girl. You let us know, Beautiful Messy Ball. How mad are you? We were just talking about all kinds of things. We're reviewing some of the old perpetrators. Now, don't forget, hold up. Let's talk about this. Now, Beautiful Messy Ball, you might know a little bit more. I think somebody said in the chat that 2016 lawsuit was dropped like 3 times or something like that when it came to Trump, right? So we're trying to figure out what are the files, the no files. I mean, even Roseann Barr is actually making sense to me right now. You know, the lady is a trip, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Victoria's Secret reportedly continued to work with a modeling agency after it was accused of supplying underage girls to Jeffrey Epstein. There's Lex Wexner. You guys know that they did some financing together, you know, but hey, nothing to see here. There's no list. None of this ever happened. Okay. He's still alive, right? I mean, he's like an 80-something years old at this point. He's never going to have any charges brought against him. Nothing ever. I mean, there was nothing at all. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. I know, Vic. That's not the Monkey Rabbit. It needs to be discussed. I'm glad to hear that. Superman was an alien? Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. Let's keep going, y'all. And it says, Les Wexner, CEO of Victoria's Secret parent company L Brands, said he completely severed ties with Jeffrey Epstein 12 years ago. Okay. However, Bloomberg, the lingerie giant, continued to, according to Bloomberg, the lingerie giant continued to work with the modeling agency that was once accused of supplying Epstein underage girls. In 2015, Epstein accuser Virginia Roberts, or Gouffre, said in a court filing that Jean-Luc Brunel, an international modeling scout and owner of the MC2 Model Management, had supplied Epstein with dozens of underage girls. According to Bloomberg, 3 MC2 models walked in Victoria's Secret's 2015 fashion show. The agency models were at the audition in 2017 and 2018. Representatives for L Brands and MC2 Model Management did not immediately respond to Business Insider's request for comment. L Brands recently hired an outside law firm to review its relationship with Epstein. Les Wexner may have cut ties with Epstein 12 years ago, but Victoria's Secret reportedly continued to work with the model agency for years after it was accused of supplying Epstein with underage girls. Epstein is currently facing trafficking charges. In 2015, Epstein accuser Gouffre said in a court filing that Jean Brunel, an international modeling scout and the owner of MC2 Model Management, had supplied Epstein with a dozen of underage girls to feed his and GHISLAINE's strong appetite for with minors. Maxwell has been accused of acting as Epstein's madam, recruiting underage girls and abusing them alongside. Brunel appeared to have an arrangement with the U.S. government. Okay. Didn't Epstein also have an arrangement with the U.S. federal government too? I'm pretty sure I read that. Let me see. Jeffrey Epstein. Like, the shit is even protecting this man in death. Arrangement with the U.S. government. I'm pretty sure that was the thing, right? Jeffrey Epstein entered a controversial non-prosecution agreement called an NPA with the U.S. government in 2007. Under the purview of the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, Alex Acosta, the agreement followed Epstein, this agreement allowed Epstein to plead guilty to state-level charges in Florida, solicitation and procurement of a minor for prostitution in 2008. While avoiding federal prosecution and potential life sentence, he served 13 months in work release program, which I heard was really catered to him. It was really catered to the billionaire. He could fly, he could do different things. He didn't have to, like, he had POs come into his property to check in with them. Whereas if this was your regular schmegular, S trafficker or person or offender, I mean, they would be under heavily scrutiny. You can't live here. You can't do this. You can't be this. I mean, he had the money to make this accommodation for himself, right? It's crazy, but I do wonder about this. Let me know. Let's see. You cannot make this up. So this guy was under Jean had a deal with the government. Epstein had a deal with the government that it seems like it's still protecting him in death. Is it just me? And by the way, we're about to do something real quick. I'm going to try. Oh, okay. While I'm live, I can't do it. Okay, never mind. I was going to try something, but I can't do it. You said they still won't let me put a super chat. Jim Acosta, the judge who let him off that job easy in Trump's term at the White House. Interesting. Hold up. Blair made a good point. Let me read Blair's comment. Apparently, millions of dollars have still, to this day, been moving in and out of his accounts. I want to know the banks who turn their eyes off and let these funds come and go for years, right? They all scratch each other, ass cracks. That's what it sounds like. They're all scratching each other. It's like, you scratch that for me and I'll scratch that for you. Have you heard about Jeffrey Epstein's ranch in New Mexico, known as the Zorro Ranch? Never raided by the FBI? No. What? Let me write this down. Y'all be dropping some. Like I said, this is just me collecting information. Oh my God, I just dropped. I'm collecting information for a video. Okay, that's not even a writing. It's a highlighter. Hold up, Linda. What'd you say? Zorro Ranch? Never heard of that. I'm doing some research, y'all. I want to do a really long edited video on this. Like, we gonna do this. Zorro Ranch, Epstein. This stuff with, like, I feel like I don't know too much about it. So that's why I'm like, oh, what? And I'm going into it. What? And I'm like, I didn't know this. Because you guys got to understand, I mean, I didn't really start looking at, I had heard about it, but I've never really had time to look into it when I was, when I had first heard about it. I never really knew it. And the thing is, it's like, for me, I come from like some of the people in my circle, at least my family, they're not really interested in this stuff. So some of you guys are. So it's kind of nice to find people with some commonality. The Baby Farm Ranch? What? How come you guys didn't tell me that? The Baby Farm Ranch? Is this like I mean, I'm willing to put my tinfoil hat for this one, y'all. But is this a real thing? He did own this? I'm willing to, like, I'm actually going to try on a tinfoil hat for this research. Meaning that I'm willing to explore the things that I've never really understood. He was doing genetic. No, I didn't know this, Vic. What? Oh my, hold up. Now you guys are getting me somewhere else. Zorro Ranch. And this is New Mexico? Lord have mercy. Oh my God. Jeffrey Epstein's massive 21,000 square foot New Mexico mansion sits high on a mesa overlooking nearly 10 acres of desert land halfway between Santa Fe and Albuquerque. Multiple women say they were recruited and essayed by convicted Pedialyte and his alleged co-conspirators, which apparently there's no list. We'll never know. At Zorro Ranch, which they say was an integral part to Epstein's alleged trafficking operations. But wait a minute. So this was never raided? Never raided. Why wasn't this never raided? Let me see what you guys are saying. Apparently, I'm already like, what? You did? And it's right next door to Wexner's mansion. Wow. Yo, I'm telling you, I'm so new to this. They sold it. I thought it had been raided. Well, apparently they're saying that it's never was it. That's the question. Was it ever raided? Was this ever raided? Like, how do you raid all the properties, but you don't raid? See, Abraham says New York, Palm Beach, and islands were raided, but they never raided this home. That's crazy. It's all underground. To be fair, whistleblowers are routinely Epstein, so I wouldn't be surprised if no one goes down there. Probably wasn't under his name or business. Can't wait something he doesn't legally. You can't raid something he doesn't legally own. Well, did he legally own it? That's the question. Did he own this? Sorry, I'm writing notes, y'all. But why? But if the victim said that this was a ranch that people were looking at, I'm so confused. Why wasn't this ever raided? So, okay, hold up. Let me jump back a little bit. So that's a no. But Jean Brunel appears to have an arrangement with the U.S. government where he could get passports or other travel documents for young girls. He would then bring these young girls ranging in the ages from 12 to 24. So wait a minute. My spidey senses are tingling. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. You know how if you're a celebrity, right? Or if you're in the industry, there's a specific kind of visa that you get when you're traveling, right? Is it called the O visa? Hold up. Let me pull this. Celebrity special visa program for travel. I want to say it's called the O visa. It's a celebrity special visa, right? It's called the O1. Thank you. So the O1 visa is for individuals with extraordinary abilities, right? So is this the arrangement that they had with the government to have these young girls travel? And so on and so on. Yeah, hide it under a tangible web of offshore accounts that they can't link that back. That's right. That's right. He purchased in 1993, so it was owned by him. Why didn't they investigate it? I'm so mind blown. She did. All right, we could look at that. But see, this guy had a special, appears to have a special arrangement. Like I said, Epstein had special arrangements. This guy had one where he can get passports or other travel documents for young girls. Like he was able to do that. He would then bring these young girls, ranging from 12 to 24, to the United States for purposes and farm them out to his friends, including Epstein, Gouffre said in a lawsuit. Okay. Epstein also once had a $1 million investment in MC2 model management. Gouffre said in the court filings that she had encounters with Brunel on several occasions when she was between the ages of 16 and 18. He was another of Epstein's powerful friends who had many contacts with young girls throughout the world. Brunel later tried to sue Epstein, alleging that he had been unfairly caught up in his legal troubles. That case was dismissed. Victoria's Secret continued to work with MC2 representative models after Wexner severed ties with Epstein, Bloomberg reported. 3 MC2 models walked in Victoria's Secret's fashion 2015 shows, and the agency models were at auditions in 2017 and 2018. They also posed for catalogs and websites. Representatives for L Brands and MC2 Model Management did not immediately respond to Business Insider requests for comments. Last week, L Brands confirmed to Business Insiders that a board of directors had hired an outside law firm to review its relationship with Epstein. An L Brand spokeswoman said that while Epstein was Wexner's personal money manager, we do not believe he was ever employed by or served as an authority representative of the company. Epstein's crimes are abhorrent, and we applaud every effort to bring justice to those that he harmed. That makes no sense. And they had a website for this? Oh, no. That's a national website. Hold up. That is crazy. Whoa. I don't know if I have to be careful because I don't know if this person will strike. But this channel is called JSTV Justice Serve. Let me hit the like button. Liz Stein survived Jeffrey Epstein. Now she reacts to DOJ's release of non-information and admits she can't reveal the names of powerful people she was trafficked to because she feared for her safety. Okay. Let me see if I can get to
and
it.
I really am trying to use my story as a teaching moment for people to really understand what trafficking entails and the effects on the victims for a lifetime.
And we should make it clear that you were not a minor at the time, right? When you were approached and brought into this.
I was
not that that's in any way acceptable, but just it's an important element.
No,
So-
I was 21, but I looked like I was about 15.
Well, I like the fact that you use the word survivor rather than victim because it implies that you're using your skills now to help other women. I don't know if you feel that way.
There's a trajectory, right? I work with young survivors in my day-to-day work, and there's a trajectory where you go from being a victim to a survivor to a thriver, and everyone deserves to be on that trajectory. So I use the terms interchangeably for depending on where someone is in their healing journey.
So, okay, hold up. Now we got some other pictures here. These are all said to be some of the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein. Some of the people that have spoken out. Wow. No, I'm not interested. Sorry, y'all. This is crazy. Now, even though the White House is kind of acting like, yeah, everything is fine. This is all fake news, fake news, fake news. This is not going to go over very well at all. I think people are going to continue to speak on this. Lady Pamela, thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you've been blessed, put some hearts and confettis in the chat. Appreciate it. I have the feeling that Bongino and Patel have had threats to their lives and they release any Epstein documents with big names. Is that guy even able to quit? I do wonder if he's like, oh man, if I quit, then people are going to speculate. People are going to say different things. Look, what is her name has called Trump a predator too. What is her name? Oh my God, her name escapes me, but her face is like right in my head. Let me see if I can. This is why he doesn't want to release the list. But the thing is we kind of knew that he was we knew that is it AOC? It was AOC. That's who it was. Hold up. Let me see if I can pull it. She basically said it on like they got TMZ on it, right? She said it, but we kind of knew that this was a thing. Hold up. Make sure that I don't show like here it is. AOC labels Trump an artist in Epstein outbursts. TMZ jumped on it. MAGA base erupts, demands Trump sue AOC for defamation. Wow, who would have thought that electing an artist would have complicated the release of the Epstein files? She did this post, I want to say the 11th, which was yesterday. So this has not gone very well. The controversial post went viral on X, garnering over 10 million views and provoking a strong backlash. This is crazy. This is like, I wouldn't accuse him of that unless we have proof, but you do have to wonder why, what's going on with this? Sorry, guys. I thought I was showing you guys my screen. So she wrote a Twitter. Hold up. She basically accused him. What do you guys think? Outbursts. The mass media never uses that term when talking about men. Whew. Yeah, he hasn't been convicted. That's why we have to be careful. Look, I struggle with AOC. I do, because I'm like, girl. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. All these political people are, they do the most. But her doing that doesn't really help out either, if that makes sense. Do we know that for a fact? He hasn't been convicted. We have to be kind of mindful of it, right? Like, I can understand if he's been convicted, but he hasn't been. And I'm not saying that the guy is a saint, because, like, let me tell you, when he said that whole grab him by the area, that stuff resonates with me. But to go full on and say all that's too much. That is way too much. Now, hold up. Let me show you guys what else the people are saying about this. So, like I said, none of this is ending very well. Let's see.
I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. Hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them.
Alan Dershowitz was a member of the legal defense team for the first criminal case against Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
Apparently now they're thinking about releasing the Epstein files again. Here's the problem. Right now, if Trump releases the Epstein files, it won't change anyone's opinion unless a number of really powerful people are directly implicated and go to jail. The trust has already been broken.
Yes, Stormy Daniels.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems.
But has he been like, I don't think that there was anything formal. She made the allegations. I forgot about Stormy Daniels. How can I forget about that? Completely forgot. Yeah, he waited. He was convicted and owes a woman money because of the said rape. Thank you, Blair. Found liable for SA. Interesting. I thought I lost it too, but listen, I could be confused. Here it is. Was found liable for assault, but not for R of another, who's the whack job, who literally told Anderson Cooper that she views R as SC, so credibility issues exist with someone who says that. Gotcha. Liable for SA. We're moving the goalposts again. We shouldn't be. We shouldn't be. But that's just my opinion. Okay, hold up.
Problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
You say that the FBI has
But did you go to the island? But did you go to the island? That's the thing is, but did you go to the island? Did you engage in that? Did you go to the island? That's the question. And if you didn't, why not release the information? Or did the people that supported you go to that island? We, the people, want to know. He's been adjudicated. Thank you. Thank you. Did he go to the island? Do we know? Because his names are on a couple of things, but did he go to the island? That's the question.
Epstein's list. They're sitting on it.
You have the names. Like, he literally just gave 2 names. That's so bad. Are you protecting them?
Thousands of videos. Epstein with children or child well over this will make you sick. 200 victims.
So if there's so many videos, you're telling me nobody else was in any of these videos?
A lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information.
Incredibly disturbing. We have so many individuals.
This is actually crazy how big of a cover-up this is. It is shocking that it's this big of a cover-up. Donald Trump called them out by name.
Bill Clinton. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
What do you think? Hi, Dios mío. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. There was a truth analysis, a body analysis. Hold up. I'm so here for it. Hold up. What is this?
I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert. And today we're going to be analyzing behavior and body language to see if we can determine whether or not there's actually an Epstein client list. Before we get started with this, couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you
This has brought everybody out. The people that review behaviors. It's brought everybody out of the
No, this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. So after he said, is that really going to happen? The first thing you saw was her head doing this. Now, the challenge here is that sometimes people do shake their head for emphasis. And you see her do that in a way that appears to be emphasis after this. This is a little bit ambiguous. And I do like to be very specific about what I'm seeing. And if you look, her head is very horizontally moving like this. To me, that looks like a head shake. It looks like she's saying no, but that is potentially up for interpretation. Let's watch that again, and then we're going to keep going.
of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive.
So it's sitting on my desk right now for review. You saw the head nod with that. And now you see her doing this. Now, as she's doing this, this looks more like for emphasis than this did.
That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files.
And you see the way she's leaning in. JFK files, MLK files. All of this seems very authentic. So when she said she has the file on her desk, there's nothing in her body language that would suggest that that is not true. Now, whether or not she plans to release it or thinks it will ever actually get released, that's a little bit more ambiguous to me, but it seems very clear that she is telling the truth and she is being very specific when she is responding to whether or not there is an Epstein list on her desk.
Okay, so he's saying that she was telling the truth then. Well, what about here? This is what I want to know. What about here? That in recent time, hold up.
Because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response.
So the first you saw the air quotes when it came to client list as though this is something that doesn't exist.
As I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well.
Now, she's someone who is I said this earlier, she's someone who's very precise when she speaks. So the idea that she would have misspoken or that's not what she meant seems unusual. It would be very surprising that it would be taking her this long to clarify that point.
That's what I meant by that. The file along.
See, when she said the file, that makes me a little bit concerned that there's something deceptive about the way that she's saying that. She's closing her eyes. She says file. Unconsciously, we're doing that so we don't have to look at the person when we say it.
Sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein.
So once again, she's using the same line that Caroline Levitt did, which is that we're not going to share. We don't want people to see this awful evidence. Nobody's asking. Nobody would want to see that. That has nothing to do with anything that's upsetting anybody.
They were never going to be released, never going to see the light of day.
See, never going to be released. She's saying this aggressively. Focus on what I'm saying right here. This is the message I want you to get when it's immaterial because nobody cares about that. That has nothing to do with anything anybody's ever asked for.
To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video.
So when she says that, I have no knowledge of that. Watch this.
To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you.
She didn't say no.
I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to that. I actually think that's true. Whether or not she believes it or thinks maybe there's something to that.
She didn't say no, though. She didn't say no about him being an agent. I don't know nothing about that. She didn't say, she just can't answer the question.
She does not have information on that, I don't think.
On that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive.
So look at the way she's emphasizing this now. She wasn't moving her hands that much, but now she's really talking about this minute missing. She's looking over at President Trump and Marco Rubio. She is really trying to emphasize this, and I think that she means this. Whether or not you think that's why that minute was cut out, I'm sure plenty of people have their own theories about that, but this is something she believes. She believes that this minute is not cut out for any sort of nefarious reason. She actually does believe that this minute is cut out because that's the way that the software works. We're going to get into that. We're going to see in a second. But as she's looking around at everybody, this is the first time she's trying to connect with other people because she's trying to say, look, this is true. This is really something that's happened.
Showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was.
And she just said the video was not conclusive, which fascinates me. So in other words, they're saying that there's nothing on the video that's conclusive about what happened to him.
Yeah.
But I thought they said that the whole video did prove exactly what at least Dan Bongino had said. The video is going to prove our point. The quality is not great, but it proves it. She's saying the video is inconclusive.
They're not on the same page about how they're delivering the information, guys. I feel like they're not on the same page. They're all over. So hence when they said, well, the White House is at odds or people within, the administration is upset about what's going on. I agree. I feel like there's more to this. They're not on the same page about a lot of this stuff at all. And I think that says a lot. And I hope that Dan Bongino speaks on that. Paige Collins, thank you so much for the $4.99. Funny, who was president when he got raided and when he died and when he got arrested and when he got charged and when he died and when the information was released? It was Trump the whole time. When he was raided, Trump. When he was arrested and charged and detained, Trump. When he died, Trump. And with this, Trump, all under Trump, right? Ain't it funny? Oh my God, Luigi has been a member for 29 months. Hey, Luigi, shout out to you. I hope you're doing well, my love. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting my channel, my love. Hope you're doing well in this beautiful, wonderful Saturday. Nobody asked for the videos. They stated they would release it. That's right, Kay. That's right. You said, I took that as she's looking for approval at the other two. You took that like she was kind of like approving, right? Like, do you guys agree, or do you understand what I'm saying? Or I explained this before? Groupthink approval? It's crazy how they're treating this situation.
Showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that.
See, look how much more animated she is when she's talking about this, because this is something that I think she actually fully believes.
That video is old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
And then the smile at the end. We oftentimes do that as a way to punctuate what we're saying, to say, I'm not answering anything else about this. Let's stop now. Hopefully this has helped you better understand some of the behavior and body language that we saw. So to answer the question, is there an Epstein list? Well, based on the body language, it certainly seems likely that there probably is. Based on what she said at the beginning, it seems very affirmative that there was a list sitting on her desk. It also seemed like later on, we're seeing people that are showing signs that maybe they are not being entirely forthcoming. Do I think that there's a list? I think that there probably is.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Hold up. Now, the judge orders restrictions on ICE raids. We talked a little, well, we didn't really get into that, but this clash right there, I think it's important to talk about all this stuff. I'm here for it. So for the White House to say that people are just being divisive, there's no clash, we're good, I'm not buying it. I'm not.
There have been all these growing tensions between the FBI and the DOJ over the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case, which has all this renewed attention. What can you tell us about that?
Well, two sources tell NBC News that Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino is considering leaving his job after Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Justice Department effectively closed the Epstein case. In the past, both Bondi and Bongino have said that there is more to be revealed about Epstein. AG Bondi even once said she had the alleged Epstein client list on her desk, though the White House later clarified that she meant the Epstein files in general. But this week, a new memo from the DOJ and FBI concluded that there is no additional evidence to reveal. And it said Epstein died by suicide. That memo enraged many supporters of President Trump, who had accused the Biden administration and now the Trump administration of covering up aspects of the Epstein case. Some claim the case could implicate powerful and famous people. And according to two sources, this all came to a head at a meeting with Bondi, the FBI Director Kash Patel, and Deputy Director Bongino. One person who spoke to Bongino after the confrontation told NBC News, quote, Bongino is out of control furious. He is threatening to quit and torch Pam, AG Bondi, unless she's fired. An FBI spokesperson did not respond to requests for comment, and the DOJ declined to comment. The fight is dividing MAGA supporters, but two sources tell NBC News that President Trump has not lost confidence in anyone, and at this time, there is no expectation for any leadership changes at the FBI or DOJ. Laura?
All right, Yamiche, appreciate your reporting.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning.
Just not buying it. It's the lies. It's the lies.
Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz has come out with the bombshell claims that he knows for a fact that the Epstein list exists and exactly who is on it. With a hand to God, he says the list is being suppressed to protect the individuals on that list, but he is bound by judge-imposed confidentiality to remain tight-lipped on the details.
Let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed, and they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them, but I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them, and that's wrong.
Commentator Bill O'Reilly agreed, saying the list was suppressed to protect reputations of innocent Epstein associates.
I talked to President Trump man to man, eye to eye, on St. Patrick's Day about this and the Kennedy files and the King files. It was all one conversation. And he said, and I agree, there are a lot of names associated with Epstein that had nothing to do with Epstein's conduct. They maybe had lunch with him or maybe had some correspondence for one thing or another. If that name gets out, those people are destroyed. because there's not going to be any context. Media doesn't care about context. So you can't do that. You can't destroy human beings by putting out the files, whatever they may be.
He then went on to demand that all information be released after he was wrongly accused.
We want total transparency on this. Every single document, no redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights to privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people, but I was falsely accused and I was able to prove it. And I was able to prove it through documents. And I want other people to be able to disprove false accusations through documents. But these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
If the people on this list, let's just say, had nothing to do with anything, they just went to go visit an island for whatever reason, or had associations with Epstein, they should be able to, they need to be exposed, but like at least what the allegations are, and clear your name publicly, right? Like clear your name. That's what should be done. So I'm so confused by this.
Online commentators joined the professor in demanding answers, with this person saying, "Sounds like the swamp runs deep. Transparency is key here. Otherwise, it's just more cover-up talk." Dershowitz's revelation comes after a very tough week for the Trump administration. Pam Bondi has come under fire for her unclear communication in relation to the Epstein case.
Let me tell you something. Pat Bondi, I know people are like, well, it's her fault. I don't know if it's necessarily her fault. I'm just being honest with you. I feel like it's everybody in this circle. They should all be looked at. Everybody. Like, is it just her? I can't just be her.
Which she clumsily tried to backtrack on, now saying the files will never be released.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent.
Commentators and the public have not responded well to Bondi's groveling response, with even conservatives like Megyn Kelly demanding answers.
I think she was thirsty for attention. I think she was enjoying the hits on Fox, on Hannity, on Waters, in the middle of the day with John Roberts, and saying like, I've got all the answers on Epstein. I've got all the juicy dish, and I'll be the one to give it to you, until she either found out that wasn't true and realized this is why attorneys general don't talk like this ever about their ongoing investigations ever. You almost never hear from attorney general. It's the one person in any administration, Republican or Democrat, who you really can't get. There's only so much transparency you're supposed to get from an attorney general, given the way criminal investigations work. And then realize like she had an oh shit moment of she's humiliated herself and the administration, or again, I don't know, something else, or it was real in the first place and now she's doing the lying. This I don't know the truth on.
And this commentator agreed, demanding impeachment, saying Pam Bondi said she had a truckload of Epstein files delivered to her. She said the public has a right to know. Now she says there are no files and closed the case. This is an impeachable offense. Impeach Pam Bondi. She lied to the people. The usually unflappable Donald Trump was also under scrutiny this week after his attempt to sweep the Epstein case under the rug, despite many questions still being asked.
Jeffrey Epstein left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for an American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did?
All right, so we keep replaying this over and over. This didn't end very well, but look at, they even put Roseann Barr's tweet up here, which we just talked about. And I agree with you. I've said it before. I feel like the reason why they're not sharing that is because they're going to show supporters from both sides on this list. Like you're going to see from both parties, if that makes sense. You're going to see people on this list that have supported the current administration, that have donated to the current administration. You're going to see from both sides. Like, I don't think that it's a one side type of list. Like people are like, oh, it's Bill Clinton. Yeah, we know Bill Clinton, right? Or Kevin Spacey or all these people. But I honestly think you're going to see you guys are going to be surprised that if this ever does get released, which clearly it's not, it's going to be people from both sides. They've been lying to us, and I think we know that. Can't believe some of these people. You just can't. So Roseann Barr, Mr. President, yes, we still care about Epstein. We read this earlier. Is there a time to not care about child trafficking? Read the damn room.
Trump saying, Mr. President, yes, we still care about Epstein. Is there a time to not care about child sex trafficking? Read the damn room.
Yep.
And this sentiment seems to be bipartisan, with commentator Natalie Wynn.
Just like JFK, just like all these other files, they're going to wait 30, 40 years before, or if not 20 years, once everybody's done, before they release everything, right?
Demanding transparency also.
We've already passed debacle territory, but just outright grift. And that's probably not something that you would expect me to say, but this is just absolutely reprehensible. I think if you look at what really the MAGA base, the people who elected President Trump, what their sort of concerns have been these past few months is that the administration is not moving fast enough, right? They're not content with the press releases and the tweets. They want to see prison sentences and actual accountability for people that they believe committed crimes. Now we've hit the point where we're not even getting the press releases or the strongly worded letters.
Nothing. It's just frustration overall. Differences between right and left. The left says, let's prosecute everyone found liable, no matter party. Right says it never existed. And see, the thing is, thank you, Tinkle, for the $4.99. The thing is, I am not for, or like, y'all know how I am. I don't like, I think that has stifled us as a country when we think of the left and the right. Like, it's stifled our and I've said it before, like, we're losing the human element about this, where we're only concerned about one side over the other. I don't subscribe to that thought process. But I believe that if any man or woman, left or right, whatever it may be, is found on this list, they need to be exposed and they need to be held accountable. And if they didn't do anything wrong, then they should clear their name. I'm here for it. Isn't that what this is all about? Isn't that what this is all about? Why do we keep going back and forth on this? And it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's crazy to me. But that's how I see it. I'm just not a this side or that side. None of these sides have done anything for me in terms of like anything, honestly. Like, we're there's so much infighting and division because of this one side thing, the toxic trait of it, when we think of it this way. I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, we're never going to go anywhere in our life if we are just so one way or the other. I don't follow bipartisan politics. I believe in what's right, don't matter what they are, what party they associated with. Me too. And it's reframed me, like, I feel like my voice has been a bit silenced because there's so much that I want to say, but I can't, because you have to be careful who you appease to. And you guys know that. I've been very vocal. A lot of the stuff that's been happening has affected a lot of my people in my community and everything. And it hurts me, but it's almost like people don't, until it affects you, then that's when people care. Right? Till it affects you. And this child situation, not releasing, 1,000 victims, not releasing the names and acting like no crime occurred, is something that everybody should care about. Everybody. It should have been released in the last administration. It should have been released. Like, it should just be released, period. No matter what side you stand on. But we're so caught up on that. And then whatever the other administration doesn't do, it gets held against this administration. Then what this I'm just like, I'm so over this shit. It's too much. It's too much. Too much. I'm too old for that. I don't have time for it. I agree with this. I feel like both sides have something to hide, honestly. And we should be all suspect of it. And I don't feel like Eladio, as I've called him, is somebody that's so innocent. So no, you're not fucking innocent. You're not going to hear exposed things because now Trump, is on this list. What? You're involved in this shit. They were trying to subpoena your ass. He needs to focus on his children. What is it? Bot 3543 child XYZ. I don't want to appease anybody. If you know what I mean. There's just too much. Way too much. That's just my soapbox. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to do a stream where we talk a little bit about that. I'm just sad by it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. That's what it feels like too, Miss Toby. You're right. We still have to vote. We still have to but this last election for me felt like pick your poison. I was not impressed by either political party. Pick your poison. Was not impressed. Was not. I feel like both parties have failed us. And I'm reminded about it every day. They failed us. They failed us. They failed. They don't care about us. They don't. Beautiful Messy Ball, thank you so much for being a member for 23 months. They're afraid of the blowback from other world leaders. Epstein was a double agent. Fear of retaliation is real. I agree. I agree. Bad cop, LOL. Yeah. It's pick your poison. None of these parties cared about us, and they're not in it to help us or anything like that. So, that's my thought on that. This is why I don't subscribe to either party. Anyways, guys, and by the way, let's not forget that they work for us. They work for us. So when the reporter asked the question to Trump, you work for him. You work for all of us. We're allowed to ask. Tragic situation in Texas, but just as tragic, 1,000 victims and no list. You work for us. People got to remember that. They work for us. They work for us. We're allowed to ask questions. Okay? All right, guys. I got to go because I got to go tend to baby bunny, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Shout out to everybody in the chat, and I will see you guys. I might do a longer pre-recorded video on this topic because look at all this. I gotta look into this. All my chicken scratch notes in here. All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Hit the like button. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.